On the morning of May 4th, 2017, a burned-out car was discovered near the Foix Reservoir, just outside Barcelona. Inside the vehicle, police found a completely charred body, barely recognizable after the fire. At first, it looked like a tragic accident, but very quickly, investigators realized something was terribly wrong. The victim was identified as Pedro Rodriguez, a 38-year-old police officer from the Guardia Urbana of Barcelona. He had been shot before the fire. This was not an accident. It was an execution. Pedro was not just any officer. He worked in logistics. He was respected by his colleagues, quiet, professional, reliable, someone who didn't seek conflict. But behind that normal image, there was a private life filled with tension, secrets, and emotional chaos. And those secrets would soon destroy everything. As investigators began reconstructing Pedro's final hours, they discovered that, the night before his death, he had been with Rosa Peral. Rosa was also a Guardia Urbana officer, intelligent, attractive, ambitious, someone who knew how to manipulate situations and people. And she was deeply involved in a web of lies. Rosa Peral had been in a relationship with Pedro, but Pedro was not the only man in her life. There was another, Albert Lopez, another Guardia Urbana officer, another lover, another ticking bomb waiting to explode. Albert was known inside the force as intense, emotional, unstable. He was deeply in love with Rosa, and he was jealous, violently jealous. The investigation quickly focused on Rosa and Albert. Too many contradictions, too many lies, too many coincidences that couldn't be ignored. When questioned, Rosa claimed she had spent the night with Pedro, but said she left early in the morning and knew nothing about what happened next. Albert, on the other hand, gave an entirely different version of events. Neither story matched the evidence. Police analyzed phone records, messages, calls, location data, movements. What they found changed everything. In the days leading up to the murder, Rosa and Albert had exchanged hundreds of messages, many of them deleted, others full of tension, jealousy, manipulation, and anger. Pedro had become a problem, and someone wanted him gone. Forensic experts examined the car. The fire had been started deliberately. Accelerants were used. The body had been positioned. This was planned, cold, calculated, methodical. Then came the most disturbing discovery. Pedro had been shot before the fire. The fire wasn't the cause of death. It was meant to erase evidence, to destroy traces, to make the crime disappear. But the investigation didn't stop there. Detectives began to dig deeper into the relationships, the motives, and the hidden messages. They discovered that Rosa and Pedro's relationship was far from stable. Friends described long periods of tension and arguments. Some said Pedro seemed tired, nervous, like he was being watched. Others said Rosa acted differently around him, cold, controlling, and always looking for attention. And Albert? Albert was not just jealous. He was obsessed. He didn't just want Rosa. He needed her. He wanted to control her, to possess her, to eliminate anyone who stood in his way. As pressure mounted, Albert Lopez began to crack. During interrogation, his story changed repeatedly. He contradicted himself. He showed signs of emotional collapse. And eventually, he confessed. Albert admitted that he had participated in the murder of Pedro Rodriguez, but he claimed he was not alone. He pointed directly at Rosa Peral. According to Albert, the crime had been planned together. Rosa wanted Pedro out of her life. Albert wanted Rosa all to himself. And together, they crossed a line that could never be undone. Rosa denied everything. She claimed Albert was obsessed with her, that he acted alone, that she was being manipulated. But the evidence told a different story. Witnesses began to come forward, friends, colleagues, people who knew the triangle. They described arguments, threats, a toxic relationship, tension escalating over months. Investigators reconstructed the crime step by step. Pedro was lured, shot, placed in his own car, driven to a remote location, and burned, all while those involved tried to continue their lives as if nothing had happened. The case shocked Spain, not just because of the brutality, but because all three were police officers, people sworn to uphold the law. Rosa Peral and Albert Lopez were arrested, charged with murder. The media exploded, headlines everywhere. A love triangle that ended in death. But this was only the beginning, because what would come out during the trial would reveal manipulation, betrayal, and a chilling lack of remorse. If you're enjoying this story and want more true crime cases told in detail, subscribe and like the video. And don't miss Part 2, where we break down the trial, the psychological manipulation, and the final verdict. Part 2 will be published tomorrow at the exact same time as this video. You don't want to miss it.